Hello students, today we are going to discuss an interesting topic from 8th class biology, that is different types of ecosystems. By the end of this lesson, you can understand what is ecosystem and types of ecosystems and types of organisms which are living in the different ecosystems. Okay children? Children, do you know what is an ecosystem? First let us learn what is ecosystem. An ecosystem is a community of living organisms like plants, animals and microorganisms interacting with each other and with their physical environments like air, water, soil and sunlight. So children, ecosystem is a community of living organisms and non-living organisms and with their interactions, that is called ecosystem. So an ecosystem is equal to living things plus non-living things plus their interactions. This is called ecosystem. Okay children? For example, a pond is an ecosystem where fishes, water, plants, snails living together. Here is the pond ecosystem. Here you can see fishes, frogs, snails, water plants like lotus and insects like dragonfly, and you can see some birds like crane, butterflies. So these are all come under pond ecosystem. Here you can see birds, animals, fishes and also include water, air, soil and sunlight and with their interactions. This is called plant ecosystem. Another example is forest ecosystem. A forest is an ecosystem where trees, animals and microorganisms and their interactions. So here you can see animals like elephant, deer, birds, and here you can see a tiger, a fox. Here you can see number of big trees and small plants. So in a forest ecosystem you can see many small and big trees, small and big animals, birds and their interactions. This is called forest ecosystem. So okay children, till now we learned about what is ecosystem. Now let us learn about types of ecosystems. The ecosystem can be classified into two major groups, that are natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. Again the natural ecosystem divide into terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. The examples for the terrestrial ecosystems are grassland ecosystem, forest ecosystem, desert ecosystem, and the aquatic ecosystem divide into two groups, that are freshwater ecosystem and marine water ecosystem. So children, this is the classification of ecosystems. Let us learn deeply what are the ecosystems. Natural ecosystems. Natural ecosystems are found in nature without direct human design. There is no interference in the natural ecosystem. There is no human interference in the natural ecosystem. The example for the natural ecosystems are forest ecosystem, desert ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, mountain ecosystem and tundra ecosystem. Next, artificial ecosystems. Unlike the natural ecosystems, these artificial ecosystems are created or modified by humans. There is a lot of human interference in the artificial ecosystems. These ecosystems don't occur naturally. It requires human maintenance. Examples for the artificial ecosystems are agriculture fields, aquariums and gardens and parks. So these are artificial ecosystems, means there is a lot of human interference and they require human maintenance. So examples for the artificial ecosystems, first one is agriculture fields. Children, do you know what are agriculture fields? Do you see your surroundings any agriculture fields? Yes, in our surroundings many agriculture fields are there. They are the example for the artificial ecosystems. Next, aquariums. Have you ever seen aquariums? Yes, you so much like aquariums, no? Yes, aquariums are the artificial ecosystems. Actually it is a water based ecosystem, but it is made up of humans. It is made by mans, that's why it is called artificial ecosystem. Next, garden and parks. Garden and parks are beautifully designed by human beings, that's why they are called artificial ecosystems. Have you ever visited any park or gardens? Yes, they have beautiful flowers. Gardens have beautiful flowers, beautiful plants, beautiful fruit plants. So there are many flower plants are there in the parks and gardens. So these are the artificial ecosystems, example for the artificial ecosystems. Now let us discuss about natural ecosystems. Natural ecosystems can be classified into two major groups, that are terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystems are land based ecosystems, means you can see the terrestrial ecosystems on the lands only, that's why they are called terrestrial ecosystems. Example for the terrestrial ecosystems are forests, deserts, grasslands, mountains and tundras. First let us know deeply about forest ecosystem. Forest ecosystem is a example for the terrestrial ecosystem, right? This is the forest. In the forest you can see many big plants and animals like elephant, tiger, fox, cheetah and deers, and many microorganisms. Number of microorganisms are present in the forest ecosystem. There is a lot of biodiversity in the forest. Have you ever visited, children? Have you ever visited any forest? Right. Okay children. Next let us discuss about desert ecosystem. Desert ecosystem is the another example for the terrestrial ecosystem. In the desert ecosystem you can see camels, lizards, rats and many cactus plants. These all plants and animals are adapted to the hot conditions of the desert ecosystems. Next, grassland ecosystems. This is also an example for the terrestrial ecosystem. In the grasslands you can see lions, zebras, antelopes and giraffes and many plants and birds, and here we can see majorly grass, that's why we call it as grassland ecosystem. Grassland ecosystem లోపల గడ్డి ఎక్కువగా కనిపిస్తుంది, పెద్ద చెట్లు తక్కువగా కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటాయి, అందుకనే దీన్ని మనము గ్రాస్లాండ్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్ అని చెప్పడం జరుగుతుంది. ఇఫ్ ఒకవేళ బిగ్ ట్రీస్ కనుక ఉంటే అది ఫారెస్ట్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్ అవుతుంది, రైట్. ఓకే చిల్డ్రన్, దిస్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ గ్రాస్ల్యాండ్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్. నెక్స్ట్ mountain ecosystem. In this mountain ecosystem you can see a tall trees like conifers. These plants also called as conifer plants. These are very tall plants and you can see very tall mountains in the mountain ecosystem. This mountain ecosystem has very cold climate. The plants and animals which are living in the mountain ecosystem has to adopt that cold conditions in the mountain ecosystem. Next, tundra ecosystem, also called as polar regions. In this tundra ecosystem there is a very cold climate. Very cold climate is there in the tundra ecosystem. The organisms which are living in the tundra area has to adapt to survive this cold climate. Here you can see polar bears and arctic fox, and you can see penguins, seals, seal fishes are present in the tundra ecosystem. So okay children, this is about terrestrial ecosystems. Till now we have learned about terrestrial ecosystems and their examples and which organisms, plants and animals are living in that terrestrial ecosystem. Now let us discuss about aquatic ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem are water based ecosystem. You can find aquatic ecosystem found in only water. That's why we call it as aquatic ecosystem. These aquatic ecosystems can be classified into three major groups, that are freshwater ecosystem, marine water ecosystem and wetland ecosystem. Now let us discuss briefly about these aquatic ecosystems. So first one is freshwater ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem includes ponds, lakes and rivers. In these freshwater ecosystems you can see number of fishes and frogs, snails and many more aquatic organisms. And also you can see plants like lily, plants like water lily, lotus and grass, and you can see birds like crane and kingfisher. In this ecosystem, in this aquatic ecosystem, there are number of insects, birds, plants and fishes are present. They interact with each other, they depend on each other and make an ecosystem that is called aquatic ecosystem and freshwater, and they can combinedly make a freshwater ecosystem. Now marine water ecosystem. As you all know, marine water ecosystem includes seas and oceans. The water in the seas and oceans are salty. So the organisms which are living in the marine ecosystem has to adapt for the salt conditions. Here you can see tortoise and fishes, whales and sharks. You can see number of big fishes in the marine water ecosystem. Now next, wetland ecosystems. Wetland ecosystems are the combination of water and land. You can see here, you can see some water and some land. That's why we call it as wetland ecosystem. ఇక్కడ వాటర్ మరియు నేల రెండు కూడా కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటాయి, అందుకనే దీన్ని మనము వెట్లాండ్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్గా చెప్తాము. ఇన్ దిస్ వెట్లాండ్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్స్ యూ కెన్ సీ మేజర్లీ amphibians. Amphibians like frog, lizards, crocodiles you can see in wetland ecosystems. Swamps are the examples for the wetland ecosystem. Okay children, till now we have discussed about different types of ecosystems, terrestrial ecosystems and aquatic ecosystems, and the animals and plants which are living in the ecosystems. We have discussed about different types of ecosystems. We will meet soon with another interesting topic. Thank you.